The life story of Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great, also known as Alexander III of Macedon, was born on July 20, 356 BCE, in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia. He was the son of King Philip II of Macedon and Queen Olympias. From a young age, Alexander showed great potential and received an education from the renowned philosopher Aristotle. In 336 BCE, when Alexander was just 20 years old, his father Philip II was assassinated, and he ascended to the throne of Macedon. He quickly consolidated his power by eliminating his rivals and securing the loyalty of the Macedonian army. Alexander's ambition went far beyond maintaining his kingdom, and he sought to expand the Greek Empire to unprecedented heights. In 334 BCE, Alexander embarked on his grand campaign to conquer the Persian Empire, which was then the largest empire in the world. Leading an army of approximately 40,000 Macedonians and Greeks, he crossed the Hellespont, now the Dardanelles, and ventured into Asia Minor. He won a series of decisive battles against Persian forces, including the battles of Granicus, Issus, and Gaugamela. These victories allowed him to bring most of Asia Minor under his control. Continuing eastward, Alexander entered Egypt in 332 BCE, where he was hailed as a liberator. He founded the city of Alexandria, which would become a major center of Hellenistic culture. From Egypt, he turned his attention to the mighty Persian capital of Persepolis, which he captured and plundered in 330 BCE. Darius III, the Persian king, was assassinated shortly afterward, solidifying Alexander's control over the Persian Empire. Alexander pushed eastward into Central Asia, conquering lands as far as present-day Pakistan and India. He founded several cities along the way, including Alexandria Eskit, modern Tajikistan, and Alexandria Bucephalus, named after his favorite horse. However, his troops grew increasingly weary, and after a mutiny, Alexander decided to turn back and return to Babylon. Tragically, Alexander's ambitions were cut short when he fell ill in 323 BCE, at the age of 32. After suffering for several days, he died in Babylon under mysterious circumstances. His death marked the end of an era and initiated a period known as the Wars of the Diadochi, as his generals fought for control over his vast empire. Alexander's legacy is immense. He created an empire that stretched from Greece to Egypt and as far east as India. Integrating diverse cultures and spreading Greek influence throughout the known world. He is celebrated as one of history's greatest military strategists and was inspired by legendary figures like Achilles and Hercules. His empire, known as the Hellenistic period, would have a profound impact on subsequent civilizations, and serve as a bridge between the ancient Eastern and Western worlds.
Early life and education. Alexander received a comprehensive education from Aristotle, covering subjects like philosophy, literature, science, and warfare. This education played a significant role in shaping his intellectual and cultural perspectives. Battle of Chaeronea. At the age of 18, Alexander fought alongside his father's army in the Battle of Chaeronea against the Greek city-states. This battle resulted in a decisive victory for Philip II, solidifying Macedonian control over Greece. The Gordian Knot. In 333 BCE, during his campaign in Asia Minor, Alexander encountered the famous Gordian Knot in the city of Gordium. According to legend, whoever untied the knot would become the ruler of Asia. Unable to unravel it, Alexander famously sliced through the knot with his sword, displaying his determination and audacity. Siege of Tyre. The island city of Tyre posed a significant obstacle to Alexander's campaign. It took him 7 months of relentless siege warfare to conquer the city. Alexander's engineers constructed a causeway to reach the island, demonstrating his strategic ingenuity and determination to achieve his goals. Conquest of Egypt. After securing Egypt, Alexander visited the oracle of the god Amun at the Siwa oasis. The oracle declared him to be the son of Amun, confirming his divine status. This proclamation further enhanced his reputation and provided religious legitimacy to his rule. Bucephalus and companion cavalry. Alexander's beloved horse, Bucephalus, accompanied him throughout his conquests. Bucephalus became a symbol of Alexander's bravery and loyalty. He also established the elite companion cavalry, a highly skilled and fiercely loyal cavalry force that played a crucial role in his military successes. Integration of cultures. Alexander promoted a policy of cultural fusion, encouraging his soldiers to marry local women and adopting certain Persian customs. He sought to unify his empire through a blend of Greek and Eastern cultures, leading to the emergence of Hellenistic civilization. Death and succession. With no clear heir, Alexander's death triggered a power struggle among his generals, known as the Diadochi. Eventually, his empire was divided into several kingdoms, including the Ptolemaic kingdom in Egypt and the Seleucid Empire in the east. Legacy. Alexander's military tactics and strategies continued to inspire future military leaders, such as Julius Caesar and Napoleon Bonaparte. His conquests and cultural influence left a lasting impact on the regions he conquered, shaping the course of history for centuries to come. It's important to note that while Alexander's conquests were significant, they also resulted in the loss of countless lives and the destruction of civilizations. His legacy is complex and has been viewed differently by various cultures and historians throughout history.
Personal characteristics. Alexander was known for his charisma, courage, and military genius. He possessed an extraordinary ability to inspire and lead his troops, often leading from the front lines. He was also highly educated, well-read in Greek literature and philosophy, and had a deep admiration for Homer's Iliad. The Battle of Issus. One of Alexander's most famous victories was the Battle of Issus in 333 BCE. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander employed innovative tactics, such as a daring cavalry charge, to defeat the Persian forces led by King Darius III. This victory marked a turning point in the war against the Persian Empire. City founding. Throughout his conquests, Alexander founded numerous cities, often named Alexandria after himself. These cities served as centers of administration, trade, and Greek culture. Alexandria in Egypt, in particular, became a renowned hub of learning and knowledge. The siege of Halicarnassus. In 334 BCE, Alexander laid siege to the fortified city of Halicarnassus in present-day Turkey. The defense of the city was led by the Persian queen Artemisia, who displayed exceptional military leadership. Eventually, Alexander's forces conquered the city, but he was impressed by Artemisia's courage and granted her honors. The Battle of Hydaspes in 326 BCE, Alexander faced his toughest battle against King Porus of the Paurava kingdom in the Battle of Hydaspes in present-day Pakistan. Despite facing a formidable opponent with a vast army and war elephants, Alexander's tactics and the skill of his army secured a hard-fought victory. Marriage and relationships. Alexander married several times in his life. His most notable marriage was to Roxana, a Persian princess whom he encountered during his campaigns. Their marriage was seen as a symbol of his policy of assimilating Persian and Greek cultures. Deification. During his lifetime, Alexander fostered a growing cult of personality and began to claim divine status. He encouraged the belief that he was the son of the god Zeus Ammon, a combination of the Greek god Zeus and the Egyptian god Amun. This further enhanced his power and authority. Influence on Hellenistic culture. Alexander's conquests played a crucial role in spreading Greek culture, known as Hellenism, throughout the conquered regions. This led to the blending of Greek, Persian, Egyptian, and other cultures, resulting in a vibrant and influential era of Hellenistic civilization. Historiography. The story of Alexander the Great has been chronicled by several ancient historians, including his contemporary, Callisthenes, and later historians such as Arrian, Plutarch, and Diodorus Siculus. Their writings, while not always completely accurate, provide valuable insights into his life and conquests.
Alexander was a great patron of the arts and sciences. He supported scholars, philosophers, and artists, including Aristotle and the famous painter Apelles. The cultural exchange fostered during his reign greatly influenced art, architecture, literature, and philosophy in the Hellenistic world. These additional details provide a broader view of Alexander's life, military campaigns, and influence on the ancient world. Certainly, here are some more details about Alexander the Great. The Siege of Tyre. The siege of the island city of Tyre was one of the most challenging and remarkable military feats of Alexander's career. Tyre was located on an island just off the coast of present-day Lebanon and was heavily fortified. Alexander built a causeway using the debris of the destroyed mainland city, connecting the mainland to the island. This allowed his forces to breach the walls and conquer Tyre after a long and grueling siege. Cultural exchange and scholarship. Alexander's conquests facilitated a significant exchange of knowledge and ideas between different cultures. He sponsored expeditions to explore and document the lands he conquered, contributing to geographic knowledge. He also established the Library of Alexandria, which became one of the greatest centers of learning in the ancient world. Religious syncretism. In his efforts to promote cultural fusion, Alexander adopted certain elements of Persian and Egyptian religious practices. He often participated in religious ceremonies and sought to be recognized as a divine ruler, blending Greek, Persian, and Egyptian religious traditions. Eastern campaigns and exploration. As Alexander ventured deeper into Central Asia and India, his expeditions took on a more exploratory nature. He sought to uncover the source of the Nile River and explore the lands of myth and legend. Although his plans were curtailed by the mutiny of his troops, he paved the way for future exploration of these regions. Personal sacrifices. Alexander demanded great sacrifices from his soldiers and himself. He led by example, enduring the same hardships as his troops, sharing their dangers and sharing in the spoils of victory. His ability to lead through personal example gained him the respect and loyalty of his soldiers. The death of Hephaestion was Alexander's closest friend and companion. His death in 324 BCE deeply affected Alexander, and he mourned him extravagantly, organizing grand funeral processions and ordering cities to build memorials in his honor. This event showcases the intense personal relationships and emotional depth of Alexander's character. Influence on military tactics. Alexander's military tactics and strategies revolutionized warfare. He introduced the concept of a highly mobile and combined arms army, employing cavalry, infantry, and siege engines in a coordinated manner. His ability to adapt and innovate on the battlefield contributed to his numerous victories.
Legacy of Alexander's empire. After Alexander's death, his empire fractured into separate Hellenistic kingdoms, each ruled by one of his generals. These kingdoms continued to wield influence and shape the course of history in their respective regions for centuries. The spread of Greek language, culture, and ideas during this period laid the foundation for the later Roman and Byzantine civilizations. Historiographical controversies. The accounts of Alexander's life and conquests have been subject to various interpretations and controversies. Historians have debated the motivations behind his conquests, the nature of his personality, and the extent of his achievements. Different sources present different perspectives and biases, making the study of Alexander a topic of ongoing historical inquiry. These additional details shed further light on the various aspects of Alexander's life, his cultural and military impact, as well as the complexities and debates surrounding his legacy. Influence on art and architecture. Alexander's conquests had a profound impact on art and architecture. The fusion of Greek and Eastern influences gave rise to a new style known as Hellenistic art. This style emphasized realism, emotional expression, and intricate detailing. Monuments and sculptures depicting Alexander and his victories were erected in many cities, showcasing his influence on the artistic landscape of the time. The Battle of the Hydaspes River in 326 BCE, Alexander faced King Porus of the Paurava kingdom in the Battle of the Hydaspes in present-day Pakistan. Porus commanded a formidable force, including war elephants. Despite the challenging circumstances, Alexander's tactical brilliance and the resourcefulness of his troops allowed them to secure victory. Legacy of Greek language. Alexander's conquests played a significant role in spreading the Greek language across his vast empire. Greek became the lingua franca of the Eastern Mediterranean and the Near East, facilitating cultural exchange, trade, and administration. The influence of the Greek language persisted long after the decline of the Hellenistic kingdoms. The burning of Persepolis in 330 BCE, after the fall of the Persian capital Persepolis, Alexander ordered the burning of the royal palace. This act is often seen as a symbol of the end of the Persian Empire and the triumph of Greek power. The destruction of Persepolis marked a turning point in Alexander's conquests and further solidified his image as a conqueror. Philosophical interest. Alexander's education under Aristotle fostered an interest in philosophy and intellectual pursuits. He corresponded with philosophers such as Diogenes the Cynic and sought to blend philosophical ideas with his political and military endeavors. His reign marked a period of intellectual flourishing and the interchange of ideas among diverse cultures.
Siege of Gaza. The Siege of Gaza in 332 BC was a significant military undertaking for Alexander. The city was heavily fortified, and its capture required months of relentless effort. Alexander personally led the assault and managed to breach the walls, displaying his determination and strategic acumen. Interactions with Diogenes during his visit to Corinth. Alexander sought an audience with the philosopher Diogenes, who lived a simple and ascetic life. When Alexander found Diogenes sitting in the sun, he asked if there was anything he could do for him. Diogenes famously replied, "Stand out of my light." This encounter showcased the contrast between Alexander's grand ambitions and Diogenes' rejection of material wealth. Marriage to Roxana and Bactrian campaign. Alexander married Roxana, a Bactrian princess, in 327 BC. This marriage was seen as a political alliance to strengthen his control over the eastern region. The Bactrian campaign was a challenging endeavor, as Alexander faced fierce resistance from local tribes and harsh terrain. The Diadochi and Hellenistic successor kingdoms. Following Alexander's death, his empire was divided among his generals, known as the Diadochi. They established their own Hellenistic kingdoms, including the Ptolemaic kingdom in Egypt, the Seleucid Empire in the east, and the Antigonid kingdom in Macedonia. These kingdoms continued to flourish and shape the ancient world for several centuries. Influence on military strategy and leadership. Alexander's military tactics and leadership style continued to inspire military leaders throughout history. His innovative strategies, including the oblique formation and the use of combined arms, set new standards for military excellence. His ability to inspire loyalty and motivate his troops under challenging circumstances earned him a place among history's great commanders. These additional details shed further light on Alexander's impact on art. Certainly, here are some more details about Alexander the Great and his impact on art and culture. Coinage. Alexander's conquests led to the spread of Greek coinage throughout his empire. The coins featured his image on one side, often depicted wearing a lion's skin headdress, symbolizing his association with Hercules. These coins standardized currency and facilitated trade across diverse regions, contributing to economic integration. Portraiture. Alexander's image became a popular subject in Hellenistic art. Portraits of him were created in various mediums, including sculptures, paintings, and coins. These depictions aimed to capture his idealized features, presenting him as a heroic and divine figure. Mosaic art flourished during the Hellenistic period, and Alexander's exploits were a common subject for these intricate designs. Elaborate mosaics depicted scenes from his life, such as battles, triumphal processions, and encounters with mythical figures. These mosaics adorned public spaces and wealthy residences, reflecting the fascination with Alexander's achievements. Literature and theatre. Alexander's conquests inspired a wealth of literary works and dramas.
Writers like Callisthenes, Ptolemy I, and Cleitarchus chronicled his campaigns and exploits, creating a rich body of literature known as the Alexander Romance. This genre blended historical accounts with fantastical elements, contributing to Alexander's mythical status. Architectural projects. Alexander's influence on architecture can be seen in the cities he founded, such as Alexandria in Egypt. These cities were designed with grandeur, featuring monumental buildings, temples, and theaters. The architectural style blended Greek and local influences, resulting in unique structures that showcased the wealth and power of the Hellenistic rulers. Sculptures and statues. Sculptures and statues of Alexander were created in abundance, often depicting him as a young and idealized ruler. Many of these statues emphasized his physical strength, charisma, and divine connections. The most famous example is the colossal statue of Alexander in the city of Rhodes, which stood over 30 meters tall. Hellenistic artistic innovations. The Hellenistic period, influenced by Alexander's conquests, saw significant artistic innovations. Sculptors began to experiment with more dynamic poses, emotional expressions, and naturalistic representations. This departure from the idealized beauty of classical Greek art allowed for greater realism and emotional depth in artistic representations. Cultural syncretism. Alexander's conquests led to the blending of Greek, Persian, Egyptian, and other cultural traditions. This cultural syncretism influenced artistic expression, resulting in unique styles and subject matter. Artists drew inspiration from diverse cultures, incorporating Eastern motifs, gods, and myths into their works. Museums and collections. The Hellenistic period saw the establishment of royal collections and museums that showcased art and treasures from different regions. These collections, influenced by Alexander's passion for collecting, brought together diverse artworks and artifacts, promoting cross-cultural understanding and appreciation. Lasting influence. Alexander's impact on art and culture extended beyond his own lifetime. The Hellenistic artistic traditions and styles he fostered continued to flourish long after his death, influencing Roman and subsequent civilizations. His image and exploits remained popular themes in art, literature, and theater for centuries to come.
These additional details highlight the profound influence of Alexander the Great on the artistic and cultural landscape of the ancient world, contributing to the development of diverse art forms and the blending of different cultural traditions. Library of Alexandria. One of the most notable cultural achievements associated with Alexander is the establishment of the Library of Alexandria. Located in the city he founded in Egypt, the library became a renowned center of knowledge and learning in the ancient world. It housed a vast collection of scrolls and attracted scholars, philosophers, and scientists from various regions. Marriage to Statera. After the Battle of Issus, Alexander married Statera, the eldest daughter of King Darius III, the Persian ruler he had defeated. The marriage was seen as a political move to solidify his control over the Persian Empire and to foster cultural integration between the Greeks and Persians. The Siege of Masada. During his campaigns in the Persian Empire, Alexander encountered the fortress of Masada, located in present-day Israel. The stronghold was held by a group of Jewish rebels known as the Sicarii. Despite their fierce resistance, Alexander's forces eventually overcame the fortress, marking a significant victory for his empire. Crossing the Hindu Kush. One of the most challenging feats of Alexander's military career was crossing the Hindu Kush mountain range in present-day Afghanistan. The harsh terrain, extreme weather conditions, and resistance from local tribes posed immense difficulties. Nevertheless, Alexander's determination and leadership enabled him to successfully navigate the treacherous mountain passes. The Battle of Gaugamela. In 331 BCE, Alexander faced King Darius III once again in the decisive Battle of Gaugamela. It was the final clash between the Persian and Macedonian armies. With superior tactics and strategic maneuvering, Alexander secured a resounding victory, leading to the collapse of the Persian Empire. Eastern influences. As Alexander's empire expanded into the east, he encountered various cultures, including Indian, Persian, and Central Asian. He actively embraced and incorporated elements from these cultures, such as adopting Persian royal customs. incorporating local troops into his army, and promoting cultural exchange. Death and succession. Alexander's untimely death in 323 BCE at the age of 32 marked the end of his conquests and ushered in a period of instability and infighting among his generals, known as the Wars of the Diadochi. The division of his empire among his successors led to the fragmentation of his vast dominions. Personal achievements. In addition to his military conquests, Alexander was known for various personal achievements. He was an avid reader and carried a copy of Homer's Iliad with him. He established cities and colonies, promoted the spread of Greek language and culture, and initiated ambitious infrastructure projects to improve trade and communication.
Legacy and historical impact. Alexander's legacy is a subject of ongoing debate among historians. Some view him as a visionary and a genius whose conquests reshaped the world, while others criticize the violence and destruction wrought by his campaigns. Nevertheless, his achievements left an indelible mark on history, influencing politics, culture, and warfare for centuries to come. Cultural myth and legend. Over time, Alexander's life and exploits became intertwined with myth and legend. Stories of his divine birth, encounters with mythical creatures, and his quest for eternal life gained prominence, blurring the lines between history and mythology. These additional details provide a deeper understanding of Alexander's life, military campaigns, cultural interactions, and his enduring impact on the ancient world. The oracle at Siwa. During his conquest of Egypt, Alexander made a pilgrimage to the oracle of Amun at Siwa. According to legend, the oracle declared him the son of Zeus, reinforcing his divine status and providing legitimacy to his rule. Foundation of Alexandria. In 331 BCE, Alexander founded the city of Alexandria in Egypt. It became a major center of Hellenistic civilization and a hub for trade, culture, and scholarship. The city's renowned lighthouse, the Pharos, became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Exploration of the Indus River. After defeating King Porus in the Battle of the Hydaspes, Alexander set his sights on exploring the Indus River and reaching the Indian Ocean. He led his army down the Indus, encountering diverse cultures and facing challenges from local tribes. This marked his farthest eastern expedition. The Gordian Knot. According to legend, Alexander encountered the legendary Gordian Knot in Phrygia, present-day Turkey. The knot was said to be impossible to untie, and it was prophesied that the person who could unravel it would rule all of Asia. In a bold move, Alexander sliced through the knot with his sword, symbolizing his determination and disregard for convention. Personal health and appearance. Alexander was known for his physical prowess and athletic abilities. He took great pride in his appearance and physical fitness, often participating in athletic contests and demonstrating his strength and agility. However, later in his life, his health began to decline, and he suffered from various ailments, possibly including malaria and alcohol-related conditions. Alexander adopted several Persian customs and encouraged his soldiers to intermarry with Persian women. This policy aimed to foster cultural integration and create a sense of unity among his diverse subjects.
The Gordian Knot. In Gordium, a city in modern-day Turkey, Alexander encountered an ancient wagon tied with an intricate knot, known as the Gordian Knot. It was said that whoever could untie the knot would rule Asia. Instead of trying to unravel it, Alexander famously cut the knot with his sword, asserting his authority and fulfilling the prophecy in his own way. Crossing the Hellespont. At the start of his Asian campaign, Alexander faced the challenge of crossing the Hellespont, now the Dardanelles Strait. According to legend, he threw a spear into the Asian shore and leapt across it, symbolizing his determination and confidence in conquering new lands. Persian fireships. During the siege of Tyre, the Tyrians set fire to their own ships and sent them against the Macedonian fleet. In response, Alexander employed a unique tactic of using fire-resistant clay coating on his ships, allowing his fleet to withstand the fiery onslaught and ultimately conquer the city. Bucephalus. Alexander's horse Bucephalus was Alexander's beloved horse and companion throughout his campaigns. Legend has it that Alexander tamed the wild horse when he was a teenager, showcasing his skills as a writer and his connection with animals. Bucephalus became a symbol of Alexander's courage and loyalty. Foundation of the Library of Alexandria. In addition to founding the city of Alexandria, Alexander also initiated the construction of the Library of Alexandria. The library aimed to collect and preserve knowledge from across the known world, attracting scholars and intellectuals. It became a center for learning and contributed to the dissemination of Greek culture and knowledge. Eastern court practices. As his empire expanded eastward, Alexander adopted certain Persian and Eastern court practices. He began to dress in Persian royal attire, adopted the practice of proskynesis, prostration before a superior, and embraced the concept of divine kingship, all aimed at integrating diverse cultures within his empire. Influence on successor kingdoms. After Alexander's death, his empire was divided among his generals, known as the Diadochi. These successor kingdoms, such as the Seleucid Empire, the Ptolemaic Kingdom, and the Antigonid Empire, continued to uphold and spread Greek culture and influence in the regions they ruled, preserving and expanding Alexander's legacy. These additional details provide further insight into notable events, symbolic actions, and cultural influences associated with Alexander the Great.